Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
I want to talk about this new Moro figure that we're getting from LS Studio. And a quick shout out to Hobby Model Store's Instagram for the image. I appreciate it. This thing, it's a double-edged sword. I am very excited for the fact that we're getting new Dragonball Super figures, especially ones from the manga that haven't been animated yet. You know, keep it up, LS Studio. We appreciate it because this is the only Moro figure that we have. You know, I would hopefully down the road they will do, you know, like a black Frieza and a gas figure and a granola figure. I'm excited for my Beast Gohan that'll be here in the next 3 weeks whenever AliExpress gets it here to the US. Anyways, but when I saw this image earlier today, or it was yesterday, whenever it was, a few things kind of stood out to me, and I don't really want to bury the lead, so we'll kind of just jump right into it. First off, overall, I do like what I see, but there are a couple of at least one big glaring problem, and we'll discuss it right off the bat, and that is this, of course, and that is the waist to hip ratio. If anybody can see that right there, that's concerning me. Yes, Moro is drawn to have, you know, a slim, small waist. He's slimly built, but he also has a long torso, and this is showing his torso to be kind of short. So they're missing the mark a little there. And also with how small they've made his waist, it's given me SH Figuarts Majin Vegeta vibes, if anybody remembers that. And a lot of people were up in arms with how small that waist is, and I'm getting that vibe from this. Yeah, his waist to shoulder ratio looks good, but look at that hip. See how they're rounded out right there and wider than his waist. Hell, they're wider than like his back and lats are. And you know, bipedal humanoids, their hips don't look like that. I understand that. I think that they were trying to go for kind of the baggy pants look, but if in this form, this version of Moro, if you look at stuff from the manga and just images that you can find online, this version of him, the pants are, you know, straight up and down. Now, when he still has like the goat face and it is a little bit different form of him, yeah, it shows his pants really baggied out, you know, around the hips, but that is not this version that they're depicting. So right there, I kind of have a problem with that as far as an aesthetic look. That is really not, that doesn't look that good. Is it a deal breaker? No, but it's not that great, my opinion. Now, looking at it and looking at the engineering on there, I think we're going to get some nice articulation out of those hips, you know, front and, you know, to the side. So that's a good thing. But that doesn't really, it's very detracting, I should say, at least to me. Tell me down in the comments if that's something that would bother you. Now, as far as the overall figure, I don't have a problem with it. He's awfully shiny, and this is not a cheap figure, so I feel like we perhaps should have gotten a little bit better finish, you know, more of a matte finish on him. And I don't see any shading anywhere, nowhere in the muscles that I can see from this image. The pants, I don't think there's any shading in that. I think it's just because they're a darker purple and just the lighting angles. It kind of looks like there might be, but I don't know. We'll see when it's in hand, but I want to say as of right now, there's no shading in the pants. His little goat legs down there, it doesn't appear to have any kind of wash or dry brush on that. So that's a little unfortunate. And especially like right up here on the shoulders where the goat fur is or whatever that is, that doesn't appear to have any, you know, wash or dry brush either. So, you know, again, I'll reiterate, not a deal breaker. Obviously, you know, anybody who's been buying SH Figuarts figures for a while know that, you know, full-on matte finishes and shading in the muscles in particular is a thing of the past. We're not getting that anymore. But it would have been nice to get that with this figure, I should say, because this guy is not cheap. I think I can't remember off the top of my head. Don't be mad, but I think it's high 60s, low 70s for this, at least where I bought him through, you know, AliExpress. But let's talk about the rest of him. I've heard a couple of people complain that saying the faces look a little off, and I'm not a huge big stickler on faces. As long as I can tell like who the character is, that's really all I care about, and I can tell this is Moro, so I'm not going to freak out. But it does look like we get a total of 6 faces, 3 different head sculpts. A couple of them I can't really tell the difference in, but you know, that is par for the course when you get multiple head sculpts sometimes, especially from like a Bandai or a ripoff of Bandai. Sometimes can't tell the difference. No big deal. They all look good to me. Hands, it looks like we get 10 hands, 2 fist hands on him in the package, and then a nice variety of open style pose hands, so that's pretty cool. He's got one hand, it looks like he's holding like a sensu bean or something. I'm not super familiar with the Moro arc. Somebody tell me down in the comments what that might be. A couple of finger gun hands, I like that. At least 3 effect parts that I can see right here. The little energy ball up there in the top left hand corner. Doesn't look like there's any shading or anything on it, but I guess it'll work because we're getting it. Whatever this is down here in the bottom left hand corner, I don't know if that is supposed to represent him like absorbing energy or magic or whatever that is, but that looks cool enough. Looks like it has a little bit of shading in it. And then whatever that white thing is over there, if that's supposed to be some kind of speed punch effect or some kind of wad or something he ejects, that looks cool enough. And an extra arm with a severed hand, where his hand is severed, I should say, and that looks good enough. Overall, I think this is going to be a solid release, or at least solid enough, because like I said, we don't have a Moro figure, but those hips are an issue as far as aesthetics. Somebody tell me I'm being crazy and he's supposed to look like that, and I just haven't seen enough source material, but I personally don't feel like that marries up. Like I said, I get that they're going for the baggy look for the pants, but humanoid hips don't really look like that, so that's a little bit of an issue, not a deal breaker. And if you look down here at his ankles really quick, and then I'll shut up about it, they're not quite flush. It looks like the ankle joint is small. If you see down there where the bottom of the wrap is, it just kind of sticks off. It's not sculpted down around the ankle, so that's probably a little cheaply done. But when I get this figure in hand, I'll definitely do a very in-depth review of him. But I just wanted to cover that and see if anybody else kind of noticed that, and see what your thoughts are. If anybody noticed the hips, and if that was something that kind of bugged you all. I'm not going to sway you from the figure, because like I said, it's the only representation we have of him, and it looks good enough for sure, but I'm not sure it's going to necessarily exceed expectations. Also with the articulation, where I predicted the hips are going to be good, I don't see a butterfly up in those shoulders. If he has one, it's sitting down in there, and you're not going to probably get any range out of it, but that's just me, talking about things in the future. And it also, I can't tell, it looks like he's probably got a neck joint, but the lack of butterfly, that could limit some things. I don't know what all moves he does. But anyway, that's really all I've got about him. Tell me down in the comments if this is something you're picking up, like already pre-ordered, or if this is something you're going to pick up now that you've seen it in hand. Anyways, that's all I've got for him. This is Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.